Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This
Yeah.
time, we're going to be looking at personalized, multimodal, large language models,
Or MLLMs for short.
or MLLMs. Yeah.
Right.
So this is all about, how AI is becoming more you-centric,
Yeah.
like AI that understands not just what you're saying, but, how you like to see things.
Yeah. Your visual preferences.
Yeah, exactly.
Your taste in music.
Uh-huh.
Even your sense of humor.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how these models try to, get a whole picture of who you are.
Yeah, like imagine if you could combine like your Spotify listening history with your Instagram likes.
And Amazon purchasing.
And your Amazon purchases.
Yeah.
All these different data types.
Yeah, that's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge for these MLLMs to make sense of all that.
It is. It's like mixing oil and water.
Right.
They just don't really go together.
Not naturally.
So how do they even begin to tackle that?
Well, one of the core challenges is really understanding all this heterogeneous data. Like take fashion, for example.
Okay.
Like you're trying to find a dress that matches your style.
Mm.
An MLLM needs to understand not just keywords like, floral or vintage,
Yeah.
but also like the visual cues that appeal to you.
Yeah, like the patterns.
Yeah, like the color palettes, the overall feel.
Yeah, the feel of a garment.
It's much more nuanced.
It is. It's not just about finding a floral dress.
Right.
It's finding the floral dress for you.
Exactly.
It makes those old recommendation systems seem so basic.
Yeah, really basic.
It's like, yeah, I just bought a pair of shoes, so you think I need another pair of shoes.
Right, exactly.
This is a whole other level.
Yeah, and it gets even more complex when you think about like the noise and redundancy.
Oh, yeah, all the junk.
Like in our digital lives,
Yeah.
we've got duplicates,
Huh.
irrelevant information,
Oh, so much.
low quality images.
Yeah.
How do these MLMs find like the good stuff?
How do they find the signal in the noise?
Well, one approach that researchers are looking at is what's called multimodal instruction.
Oh.
Like you're giving the MLLM a set of guidelines
Uh-huh.
to help it focus on the
Yeah.
most important information.
Okay.
For example, they're using image entities
Mm-hmm.
to create more personalized and accurate summaries of visual content
Interesting.
to reduce those weird AI hallucinations that we see sometimes.
Oh, yeah, so it's not just making up stuff. It's actually using what it sees.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So it's not just randomly generating a summary.
Uh-huh.
It's using specific cues from the image
I see.
to create something that's tailored to what you're interested in.
I like that.
Yeah, and this kind of leads into the different techniques that researchers are using to personalize these MLLMs.
Okay.
The paper that we're looking at breaks it down into 4 main approaches:
Okay.
instruction,
Mhm.
alignment generation,
Okay.
and fine-tuning.
All right, well, let's break those down.
Yeah.
Let's start with instruction.
Okay.
How does that actually work?
Well, imagine telling an AI, hey, write me a summary of this movie, but focus on the characters that I like.
Okay.
That's essentially what researchers are doing with this personalized multimodal instruction.
So you're giving it a little more direction based on your taste?
Yeah, they're using specific prompts and signals
Okay,
to
let's-
guide the MLLM
Uh,
towards content that matches your individual preferences.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do we have any, real-world examples of this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
One really cool example is a system called CGSMP,
Okay.
and it uses image entities to create better video summaries.
So instead of just spitting out some generic summary,
Right.
it's actually looking at what's happening in the video
Exactly.
and trying to figure out what you would like to see.
It's taking those visual cues
I see.
to focus on what's going to be interesting to you.
Okay, so what about alignment?
So alignment is all about making sure that the AI's output actually matches your intent.
So it's one thing to tell it what to do. It's another thing to make sure it actually understands
Exactly.
and delivers on what you want.
Like, let's say you ask your AI assistant to find you a restaurant for dinner,
Okay.
but you want it to take into account your dietary restrictions.
Yeah, like I'm vegan
Right.
or I only eat gluten-free.
Exactly. And also, like, your budget.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want it to
What's
recommend
the
it in
expensive place in town?
some super fancy place that you can't afford.
Yeah, it's got to fit all my criteria.
Right. So it's not just finding a restaurant.
Huh.
It's about finding the right one for you.
I can see how that's important.
Yeah. And there are some really impressive systems out there doing this.
Like what?
One example is Athena 3.0,
Okay.
which is a conversational agent
Okay.
that uses like different AI approaches to
Mhm.
dynamically align its responses with your preferences as you're talking to it.
So it's like a chatbot that learns as you're interacting with it.
Exactly. It's constantly learning and adapting
Yeah.
to what you need.
Okay, so that's alignment. What about generation?
So generation takes this to another level.
Okay.
It's not just about understanding and responding to your preferences.
Okay.
It's about the AI actually creating things for you
Wait, hold on.
based on what it knows about you.
So you're telling me the AI can make stuff?
Yeah, based on your style and your taste.
Like what kind of stuff?
Like imagine an AI that can compose music that just fits your mood perfectly,
Okay.
or write a poem in your voice.
That's wild. Are they actually doing that?
It's an area of active research.
Okay.
Like one example is this system that can generate personalized video comments.
So the AI can watch a video and react just like I would?
Yeah, using your vocabulary, your
Mhm.
sense of humor,
Like-
your way of expressing yourself.
Wow. So is that actually a real thing yet?
It's in development, but there's a paper by Wu et al.
Oh.
From 2024
Mm.
that explores how MLLMs can be used to do just that.
All right. So we've got instruction,
Yeah.
we've got alignment,
Yeah.
we've got generation. Now, what about fine tuning?
So fine-tuning is like sending the MLLM to a crash course on you.
Okay.
It involves taking this pre-trained model and then tailoring it specifically to your data
Interesting.
and your preferences.
So you're really customizing it.
Yeah, it's much more intensive than the other techniques.
Yeah. So you're making it an expert on you.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, and there are different ways to do this.
Okay.
One example is something called prefix tuning,
Okay.
which has been used for personalized image captioning.
Wait, so you're saying the AI can learn to describe pictures the way that I would describe pictures
That's the goal.
using my vocabulary and everything?
Yeah, like fine-tuning allows the MLLM to pick up those subtle nuances,
Wow.
those little quirks that make your perspective unique.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's about making the AI an extension of your own creativity.
So, okay, this is all very impressive,
Mm-hmm.
but how do we know if an MLLM is actually good at personalization?
That's a great question.
Yeah, how do you measure something like personal preference?
Right, it's a tough one,
Yeah.
but researchers are working on it.
Okay.
They're developing different ways to evaluate these models.
I'm curious how they do that.
Yeah, so it depends on the task.
Go ahead.
Like, let's take personalized recommendations, for example.
Okay, like Netflix.
Yeah, or Spotify.
Yeah.
They want to suggest things that you'll actually enjoy.
Right.
So one way to measure that is with a metric called hit at K.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so imagine you're searching for a new recipe online.
Okay.
Hit at K measures how well the search engine puts the best recipes at the top of the results.
So it's like you're searching for something and you want to make sure the most relevant results are right there.
Exactly the ones you're most likely to click on.
Okay, and how does that apply to these MLLMs?
Well, it's the same idea.
Okay.
You want the MLM to recommend things that you're actually going to like,
Yeah.
not just random stuff.
So it's all about making sure it understands my taste
Right.
and recommends things that fit my profile. Okay, that makes sense. What about other tasks?
Yeah. So for image generation,
Mm-hmm.
they focus on things like identity preservation
Okay.
and prompt fidelity.
I see.
So identity preservation means making sure that the AI keeps the person's likeness accurate.
So if it's generating a picture of me,
Right.
it should actually look like me.
It shouldn't look like some random person.
Right. That's important.
Yeah, and then prompt fidelity means that the image actually reflects what you told the AI to create.
So if I say, make a picture of me riding a unicorn,
Right.
it should actually have a unicorn in it.
And you should be writing it.
Okay. I like that example.
Yeah.
What about retrieval?
So for retrieval,
Huh.
think of like an image search,
Okay.
but it understands you.
Okay.
So you want the MLLM to find images that are not just relevant to your search, but also match your aesthetic.
So like my style.
Yeah, like your taste.
Okay.
So one metric they use is MRR,
Okay.
which stands for mean reciprocal rank. And it basically measures whether the AI is putting the best matches at the top of the list.
So the things that I'm most likely to want to see.
Exactly.
Okay, this is all very fascinating.
Yeah.
It really shows how AI personalization is becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's going beyond just basic accuracy. It's
Yeah.
about creating a truly personalized experience for each user.
And that raises a lot of interesting questions
It does.
about how this technology could evolve.
Yeah, and what it could mean for our digital lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the implications of all this.
All right.
It feels like we're really on the edge of like a whole new way of interacting with technology.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, as these personalized MLLMs get more and more advanced,
Yeah.
what does it actually mean when AI starts to know us better than we know ourselves?
It's a really good question, and I think it deserves a lot of thought.
Yeah, like what happens when it can predict our behavior so well that it can influence our decisions
Right.
in ways we don't even realize?
Yeah, and I think that is a valid concern. Like,
Yeah.
imagine an AI
Hmm.
that knows your spending habits and
Yeah.
your emotional triggers
Yeah.
and even your insecurities.
All the things you don't want anyone to know.
Right. And then uses that to manipulate you into buying something.
Yeah, it's like those targeted ads that we see online now,
Mm-hmm.
but on a whole other level.
Yeah, it's like hyper-personalized advertising.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, it is a bit of a slippery slope.
It is, and that makes me think, like, do we need regulations for this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think transparency is key.
yeah,
And user control.
yeah. We should be able to opt out if we want to.
Exactly. People need to know how these models are being used
Mhm.
and have the power to say no.
Exactly. So where do you see this going in the future?
Oh, wow. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine personalized education,
Right.
where the AI tailors the lesson to how you learn best.
Like it adapts to your pace.
Yeah, and your progress in real time.
Yeah, and your style of learning.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be amazing.
Or healthcare,
Oh.
where MLLMs analyze your medical history
Ah.
and your genetic data to
Mhm.
come up with a treatment plan that's just for you.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's like having a team of experts
Mm-hmm.
dedicated to your well-being,
Yeah.
available 24/7.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But you mentioned some potential problems.
Yeah.
What are some things that worry you about this?
Well, one thing that concerns me is bias.
Okay.
Like, if an MLLM is trained mainly on your data,
Mm-hmm.
it might just amplify your existing preferences
Okay.
and filter out things that challenge your views.
So it's like living in a bubble.
Yeah, it's like an echo chamber.
Yeah, but personalized just for you,
Right.
that could be really dangerous.
It could, and I think it's something we need to address. Like,
Yeah.
developers need to prioritize fairness and inclusivity
Yeah.
when they're designing these models.
Yeah, they need to be trained on lots of different data,
Yeah, a wide range of perspectives.
not just like one person's point of view.
Exactly.
It seems like we're walking a fine line here.
Yeah, we are.
Like on one hand, personalized MLLMs could revolutionize everything, how we learn, how we work, how we see the world.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it could make things worse.
Yeah, like it could make inequality worse
Yeah.
and limit our exposure to new ideas.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
It is, and I think it's really important to have these conversations about the potential benefits and risks.
Yeah, like we need to talk about this
Yeah.
and figure out how to use this technology responsibly.
Exactly. We need to work together to create a future where these tools are used to help people,
Yeah,
not divide us.
exactly. So what does all this mean for our listener?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that this is a really rapidly evolving field with the power to change the world,
Yeah,
and it's important to stay informed.
yeah.
Ask questions
Yeah.
and think critically about the implications of this technology.
We can't just blindly accept whatever new AI tool comes along.
Right.
We need to understand how it works
Yeah,
and demand transparency and accountability
absolutely.
from the people who are creating it.
Yeah, these are powerful tools,
Yeah.
but they're just tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to us how we use them.
Yeah. We have the power to shape the future of AI
Yeah,
in a way that benefits everyone,
exactly.
not just corporations or governments.
Right. We need to think critically,
Yeah.
advocate for ethical development,
Mhm.
and demand that these technologies are used to create a better world.
Yeah. A more just and equitable world for everybody.
That's right.
I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
This is a conversation that we all need to be having.
Yeah.
From individuals to policymakers to the researchers themselves.
Absolutely. We all have a role to play in shaping this future.
Wow. This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I feel like my brain is exploding with all this information.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is. So for our listeners out there who want to learn more,
Yeah.
what are some resources that they could check out?
Well, definitely the paper that we've been talking about. But
Yeah.
Personalized multimodal large language models,
Right.
a survey.
Huh.
It's a great starting point if you really want to get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to include a link to that in the show notes for everyone who wants to dig in.
Yeah.
But are there other things that maybe are a little easier to digest?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, there are tons of articles and blog posts
Yeah.
that are coming out now
Uh,
that explore these ideas in a more accessible way, like
Yeah.
websites like the AI Now Institute
Okay.
and the Center for Humane Technology.
Mhm.
They're doing some really great work in this area,
Yeah.
looking at the social and ethical implications of all this.
I would also recommend following some of the researchers
Yeah.
and organizations that are advocating for responsible AI development.
Right.
Because there are some really brilliant people out there
Yeah.
who are working hard to make sure that this technology is used for good.
I completely agree. It's a field that's constantly changing.
It is.
So it's crucial to stay informed,
Yeah.
stay engaged, and stay critical.
Yeah, and keep asking questions.
Yeah, the decisions we make now are going to shape the future of AI.
Uh-huh.
So it's up to all of us to
Yeah.
make sure it's a future we can be proud of.
Well said.
Yeah.
This has been such a fascinating conversation.
It has.
And I know our listeners have a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So as always, we encourage you to share your thoughts and reactions.
Yeah.
Leave a comment on our website.
Right.
Connect with us on social media. Or if you're feeling really adventurous,
Yeah.
send us a message in a bottle.
Yeah, we love getting those.
We do. And if this deep dive has inspired you to learn more about personalized MLLMs,
Yeah.
please share what you discover with us.
Yeah, we're always learning from our listeners.
We are.
And we love continuing the conversation.
So until next time,
Yeah.
stay curious
And stay engaged.
with the amazing world of AI.
Absolutely.